Well guys, it is most definitely not a John Kerry day today. It's foggy, cool, and wet. It's actually a comfortable temperature, but it's kind of coolish. I guess all the mammals have all went to the back. I don't see anybody. Oh well, or they've been eaten by wolves. But hey, anyways. So, let's go back into the shop and I'll show you what I'm going to be working on now. Hey doggies. Okay guys, so, I didn't say earlier, Saturday morning, and the plan is to fill this hole. I've got my pattern from the other side. I did this is what I used for the other side. And it looks like it'll work for here, but obviously it's nowhere near big enough. And I'm just trying to decide if I want to do this in two pieces, because there's a line that comes along here. I can make this one wrap around and come over to here like that. Bring this one down, and there would be a fairly big butt weld. The reason why I'm thinking about doing it in two pieces is because I'm probably going to have to cut this back to at least probably about here. Maybe I'll cut it back as far as there. I don't feel anything behind there, so I don't think it'd be a problem if I did. But if I do it as one piece, then I'm going to probably lose a bit of this shape here, which I guess isn't that big a deal. I was, for some reason, when I was thinking about it, I thought it was a lot more dramatic curve, but it's actually quite shallow. So I'm not going to lose anything. I'm not going to cause any kind of wheel rub issues if if this comes out a quarter inch or even half an inch, into the wheel weld, just because the curve isn't quite the same. I can probably cut that a bit too, as well. And I'm not planning on bringing this much lower than here. So, yeah, I think that's what I'll do, is I'll try and do it with one piece. Okay, so I got my pattern for this. This doesn't go all the way down, but what I'll do is I'll grab a piece of cardboard, or of poster board, Bristol board, whatever you want to call it, and I'll cut a bigger piece that should be big enough to cover that whole section there, and then we'll work it out from there. If need be, I can always crease it along here even, and or even cut it along there to make it conform better to the shape. Then it gets a little more complicated, because it would actually be, if you think about it, the paper wraps around here. I don't know if it would be coming together, which would make the metal overlap, which would be good, or if it's actually pulling apart. I have to visualize that in my mind before I'm sure of that. Anyways, let's do something here. Okay, so I've cut it back about as far as I think it needs to be cut. I'm still kind of iffy about this, but I think it's okay. But this is all cut back to as far back as it needs to. This actually was way more than it needed to be cut back. But the reality was that that because it was all munged up from the previous repair attempt that somebody else made, it was just easier to just cut it out. So I decided, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this as two pieces. It's just going to be the way it's going to have to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one piece across the bottom here and one piece across the top here. Now that I think about it, that actually generates one interesting problem, which is that how do you make this one match up with this one? I think it's going to be okay. Anyways, guys, I'll get some patches made, and I'll show you the end result here. So there's patch number one clamped in place, and I got a panel holder here and that holding it here, and Clico's holding it at the front, in case you're wondering. And what I'm going to have to do is, it's high here and low here, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to probably weld from here to there and just keep pressing it in to keep it in line. And over here, I think we're pretty good over here. Yeah, I don't even see a gap. Yeah, it's a very, very small gap. What I'll probably do is I will probably tack on a couple of spots over here. I'll plug weld those closed, but the tacks will be what's holding it in there. And then I'll do a couple of tacks here and along here, so I can remove that. I don't want that there, I'll be honest with you. I might have to figure out a different way of doing this for that piece there. But because it's just a little bit too much of a gap, and I know I can close it up, and it just seems stupid to tolerate it. Anyways, I'm rambling because I really don't want to do this. So let's get it done, and I'll bring you guys back. There you go, guys. That piece is welded in. Not the best welding job. I warped it a bit in quite a few places. Not great, but it's solid. So I'm going to leave that for today, and tomorrow I'm going to come back out and I'm going to do this piece here up to here, and shouldn't be any big deal there. Not any harder than that piece. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow.